Every time you pick up your phone and open a social media app, you are not browsing. You are sitting at a slot machine, and the house has been winning for years. The average person touches their phone 2,617 times per day. Each scroll, each notification, each red badge is a pull of the lever. And just like a casino, the machine is engineered so you almost win, almost see the perfect post, almost finish your feed, but never quite do. That near miss is the trap. Your brain right now is not the brain you were born with. Social media has physically remodeled it, shrunk your attention circuits, dulled your reward system, and hijacked the one structure that separates you from every other animal on the planet. But every single one of those changes is reversible. Today, we are walking through exactly what happens inside your skull when you quit social media, day by day, structure by structure. Deep inside your midbrain sits the nucleus accumbens. Think of it as the casino floor of your brain, where dopamine gets released every time something might be rewarding. Critical word, might. Dopamine doesn't spike for guaranteed rewards. It spikes for unpredictable ones. A paycheck doesn't trigger it the way a surprise compliment does. And social media is the most unpredictable reward system humans have ever built. Every time you open Instagram or TikTok, you're pulling a lever. That variability is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, the same pattern casinos use to keep gamblers glued to machines. Your dopamine receptors, the tiny doors on each neuron, start to shrink physically. When you flood any receptor with a chemical, your brain protects itself by reducing the number of doors. More scrolling for less feeling. So what happens when you stand up from the machine and walk out? Within 12 hours, your brain starts looking for the lever. You'll feel your phone buzz when it hasn't buzzed. Phantom vibration syndrome. 89% of people experience it. Your brain has literally wired phone in pocket as a body part. Cortisol spikes, not because anything bad is happening, because your brain interprets the absence of stimulation as danger. For a brain trained on constant input, silence feels like a threat. This is not weakness. This is withdrawal. And it is biochemically identical to the first day off a drug. You'll reach for your phone 50 to 80 times. Each time you stop yourself, it feels like an itch behind your eyes you're not allowed to scratch. But beneath the discomfort, your dopamine receptors have received a signal that the flood has stopped. Slowly, invisibly, they're beginning to rebuild. This is where most people break. Peak dopamine deficit. The casino has been closed for 72 hours and the neurochemical debt comes due. Everything feels flat. Food tastes ordinary. Music sounds hollow. Conversations feel slow. Neuroscientists call this anhedonia. Think of it as trying to hear a whisper after standing next to a jet engine. The whisper was always there. Your ears just can't detect it yet. This is the wall. And it's the most important moment in the entire process. Because right now, your dopamine receptors are upregulating faster than at any other stage. New doors are being built. The sensitivity social media stripped away is being reconstructed, synapse by synapse. If you push through the wall, you don't go back to normal. You go somewhere better. Something measurable has changed. A 2023 University of Bath study found that quitting social media for 1 week showed significant improvements in attention, sleep quality, and well-being. But the most striking change was structural. Your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, has been in chronic interruption. Every notification is a tap on the CEO's shoulder. Every scroll session pulls the executive into another meaningless meeting. After years of this, the CEO stops making strategic decisions and just reacts. 7 days without interruption, and the CEO sits down at the desk. Your attention span begins consolidating. You start finishing paragraphs. You hold a thought for 2 minutes without reaching for a device. Sleep transforms. The deeper issue wasn't blue light. It was emotional arousal. Social media floods your amygdala with microstressors right before bed. Your brain was trying to sleep in a burning building. Remove the fire, and deep sleep increases by up to 20%. You don't need an app to fall asleep. You need a brain that isn't on fire. 2 weeks in, you're bored, genuinely, uncomfortably bored. And for the first time in years, you don't kill the boredom. This is the most important neurological event in the entire timeline. When you stop feeding your brain input, the default mode network activates. Think of it as your brain's screensaver. It only runs when you stop clicking. This network handles self-reflection, creativity, future planning, and your ability to construct a coherent story about who you are. Social media kept the screensaver from ever turning on. Most people imagine quitting means returning to who they were before they started using it, that you'll revert to some younger, pre-digital version of yourself. That is logically sound, but biologically incorrect. You're not reverting, you're upgrading. The brain that emerges from a dopamine reset has adult neural architecture, mature prefrontal wiring, a fully developed default mode network, finally operating without interference for the first time. You're not going backward, you're going forward into a version of your brain that social media never allowed to exist. MRI studies show measurable increases in gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex. Your brain is not just functioning better, it is physically thicker. Creativity returns violently. The default mode network generates spontaneous cognition. Ideas arrive in the shower, solutions appear during walks. Your brain starts talking to itself in ways it hasn't since childhood. Deep focus unlocks. Where you once struggled to read for 10 minutes, you now lose hours in a book. The casino floor is quiet, the slot machine is unplugged, and your brain, the organ that was hijacked by an algorithm that knew exactly how much you could lose before you walked away, is finally yours again. You didn't lose anything by quitting. You recovered everything that was taken. Step 1, the hard vanish. Delete the apps, not log out, delete. Your brain treats app icons as cues, like a cigarette pack on the counter. Remove the cue, reduce the craving by 40%. Step 2, the replacement window. Between days 1 to 4, replace the dopamine source. 15 minutes of walking outside, sunlight, movement, novel environment. Triggers sustainable dopamine that trains receptors to grow, not shrink. Step 3, the boredom contract. When boredom hits, do nothing for 10 minutes. This activates the default mode network. You're literally building the neural architecture for creativity by doing nothing. Step 4, the 30-day fence. Not forever, 30 days. The minimum for receptor density to restore and prefrontal cortex to reestablish control. After 30 days, you choose from clarity, not craving. For 200,000 years, the human brain developed in silence, boredom, and deep social bonds. Your ancestors sat around fires with nothing but their thoughts and each other. That's what your brain was built for, not infinite scroll, not a casino in your pocket. You're not addicted. You're adapted to an environment designed to exploit the exact wiring that kept your ancestors alive. Remove the exploit, and that wiring becomes your greatest asset. The attention you think you lost is not gone. The creativity you think dried up is not dead. The focus you admire in others is not a talent. It's a brain state, and it's 30 days away. Comment day 1 below if you're starting today.